Okay, so can anybody tell me if you can hear me? Oh, I've just seen a comment coming through. It's my favourite day of the year, World Card Making Day. That's from Caroline. Perfect. So at least I know somebody is there. So can you just tell me if you can hear me? And I'm just having a quick drink. So the comments are not coming through on my... Oh, they are now. Hi Donna, hope you're okay. Yes, it has been a long time, but I just thought it was World Card Making Day, and I don't think I did one last year. I think I missed it, but I know I did one the year before. So I just thought I'd come on. So what I've done in the week, I came into my craft room. These here are just for something to look at for now, so I can move them now I know people are there. So basically what I did, I came in to my craft room the other day and I just grabbed some bits and pieces and I cut some gnomes and some shapes from designer series paper, and I just thought we'd just have a chat and maybe make a couple of cards. Donna's saying you can hear me. Hi Barbara, just what I needed today to see you at work, giving inspiration. Yep, can hear you well. Oh, thank you. So let me just grab, because I've just remembered I've not grabbed any cardstock, so I'm just going to grab a basket with some bits of card. Donna's saying it's great to see me. Oh, thank you. And then we'll see what we can do. So I've got some shapes. I've got some of the gnomes that I've stamped from the Storybook Gnomes stamp set. If you don't know what that is, it's a Stampin' Up stamp set that I sell in my online shop, or if you're anywhere else in the world you can buy it from a demonstrator near you. So I've stamped some of those already, although I've not coloured them. Oh, I've got a stray one there that's coloured. And then I've got some elements cut from the designer series paper. I've kind of got one card in mind. It's a card that's going to be coming to my website soon. Let me see if I can find it. Just give me a minute. I thought I was organised, but I'm clearly not. So this is my box that I keep my projects in. So I don't know if any of you have been keeping up with what I've been doing, but I've got lots of cards that I've already made that are going to be projects on my YouTube channel and website, and as usual the one I want I can't find. Hang on, there it is. So let me move that out of the way. So this is just a simple project made using the Storybook Gnomes designer series paper and one of the shapes from the paper. So I thought I'd probably try and recreate this today, then maybe just see if I can, you know, throw together something else. And we'll just take it from there. But really, it was just to hop on and try and make, you know, a couple of cards, if at all possible, and have a chat and a catch up with you lot. So I'll leave that one just there for now. So let me just clear some space. Here's me thinking I was all organised, and now everything's in chaos. So let's see what we're saying. Great way to start my day. Have really missed the Sunday lives, but I know you can't be on screen all the time. Oh, thank you. I've missed them as well, but do you know, Barbara, it was beginning to be not a chore, because that's not the right word. It was beginning to kind of put me under pressure to have to come on every week and kind of produce something. Does that make sense? Let me just try and adjust my camera a little bit in the hope that it's straight. So we need a base card and we need some paper. So let's have a look and see what we can do. Hi from Queensland in Australia, Vicky. Hi, hope you're okay. So let's try and do something. So I've made one with this one already. This one's quite a nice one. So let's see what we can do with this. I need a piece of white cardstock. So literally, I'm just going to make this with you. As I say, I know I've got a few elements cut, but they're just bits and pieces. I've not actually got the base cards or anything cut. So let's get a trimmer. And I'm going to cut this to 3 7/8 by, I'm looking at my measurements over on the, I've got a little post-it note that I keep on my desk with 2 measurements because they're the 2 main layers that I use all the time. Question Ashley, which DSP from Hues of Happiness did you cut out the flowers on the ScanNCut? So I used all the DSP that had the flowers on the back. So if you just bear with me 1 minute. This is literally all I've got left of my pack. I'm waiting to get some more. So I think from memory, the big flowers are mostly on the sheets that have got like the ombre colour in. So this one's like your yellows and your pinks, and then there's one that's blues and purples. So the flowers, like I've got a box here with some remnants left in. Now the ScanNCut kind of went a bit odd and cut into that one, but I usually can cover those up like with another flower. So any of the sheets that have got the big flowers in are what I cut up for all the cards. And I've got loads of cards made using this suite. That's why you can see all the papers gone. So if you want me to run through them quickly, I can do while I'm on, just to show you, you know, what I've been making. So let's just go back to this one for now. So this one needs to be, what did I say? 5 5/8. So 5 5/8. That's going to be my layer that's going to go on my card. So for my first piece of designer series paper, so this piece here, I'm going to cut a piece that's the same width. So 3 7/8. And then it doesn't really matter how long it is because I'm going to chop it off on an angle, but I will cut it at the same 5 5/8. So that's what we've got now. So that's the same size. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come down about 1.5 inches on this left hand side, so with the paper in the right orientation, and I'm just going to cut on an angle, and you can come as far down as you want or as high up as you want. I'm just going to put this in. I'm just kind of, you know, roughly guesstimating the depth here and kind of how far I want to cut it. So let's see how that looks. Now, if you have a paper that's non-directional, with this piece that's left over, you can turn it round and just have that in the, you know, as a second piece. But because this is only one directional, I can only use that one in that orientation, but I could put this one that way, if that makes sense. So let's just put the bits on the side for now. So that's what we've got so far. Now I need to see what colour cardstock I've got. Barbara's saying, well, you were a godsend during lockdown and still giving us projects many times a week, and thanks, I thought they would all cut fine. Oh, thank you. As I say, you know, I have still been making ScanNCut cutting files for my website, and I have still been putting out 2 videos a week since I stopped doing the lives, and I post every Tuesday and Friday, and they go live around about 8:30 excuse me, in a morning, that's UK time. So obviously other people in various parts of the world can catch up on them whenever they want to. But the kind of Sunday night lives were just becoming a bit of a too much of a pressure for me. I may start them again over winter. Don't know whether I'll do them every week, but I may, you know, now we're going into the autumn winter months, it's something that I might start doing. Plus the fact, I mean, when I was doing them, to be fair, you know, we got Eddie in October last year and he was only a baby. I mean, he's still only a baby, he's just 1 now, but you know, I had him to consider as well on a Sunday, you know, coming into my craft room and leaving him for an hour and a half, up to 2 hours sometimes, you know, when he was little, was a bit much. He does have separation anxiety, which we are working on, and I do literally try to go out every day for at least an hour and leave him. You know, so if it's just like I nip to the shops or if I've got an appointment or something like that, sometimes he's okay, sometimes he just barks and howls the whole time I'm out. I put the Ring doorbell in the house sometimes and watch him just to see. But he is getting better, but I just don't know whether that's something that's ever going to, you know, work its way out of him being left on his own. I mean, I don't think it helps that I work from home, so I'm literally here all the time. It's different for Hannah. She goes out, comes back, sometimes goes away for a few days at a time if she's got a comp. You know, it's different for her. But for me, being like literally with him all the time, I don't think that's helpful to him as well. So that's why I literally do try if I can. I mean, I don't go out every single day and leave him, but like this week, for instance, I had an appointment that took me out for an hour and a half, so I left him. I went to the shops one day and literally I only needed to go into Tesco for a few things, but literally crawled around the shop to try and make it stretch out to like an hour or something, you know. It's difficult, but we're getting there with him. Right, what colour? Let's see what colour we're going to use as our card base and our piece of trim. So in this pack of papers, let me see what it says. We've got balmy blue, although I don't think there's any balmy blue in this bit. We've got basic black, we've got Bermuda Bay, we've got Calypso Coral, Early Espresso, which is what I used on this one. We've got Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Pale Papaya, Pool Party. Should we try Pool Party and see if I've got any? Better choose a colour that I've not got. Pool Party. Should we go with Pool Party for this one? So I'm going to have to cut a piece of card now for my base card. So if we cut this at 5 7/8, that's going to cut that in half. And then if I score it at, what is it, 4 1/8, and I don't know what I've done with my scoring tool, so I'll use my bone folder. Save me getting my Simply Scored out. So I'm just going to fold that in half. So for some reason, the comments on my iPad, which is directly in front of me, which is what I'm looking at, oh, there they are, because they're coming up on my phone, which is over to the right-hand side quicker. So Donna's saying Pool Party looks good. So we'll go with Pool Party. So This is just a piece of UK A4 cardstock, which in its full size is 11 3/4 long and it's 8 1/4 wide. So I've literally just cut it in half at 5 7/8, which gives me 2 base cards for anybody that might be new. And then I've scored it in half at 4 1/8, which gives me my card now. The white piece is going to stick on there, but I think I'll do the assembling off for now. So now I want a piece of cardstock that's going to go across here. Now in my original that you can see here, I used Early Espresso, the same as the base card, but let's just have a look and see. So I've got some scraps. So I've got a piece of scrap there that'll probably do, but I'm thinking there's Pacific Point. You have to forgive me if I go quiet when I'm picking out a card, because my cardstock is about 2 foot to the left of where I'm stood and the microphone's directly in front of me. So every time I go to get a piece of cardstock, I might go a bit quieter. So I'm just wondering, what do you think? Should we do? I need a longer piece than that anyway. Let's see what we've got in here. I keep all my scraps with my cardstock, and then that way I know where they all are. So Pool Party looks good, or Pacific Point. Let's have a vote and see. So just the thin strip that's going to go across here, are we going to go Pool Party or are we going to go Pacific Point? So Donna Jo is saying, is that the size card base you usually make? Yes, Donna, I usually always, if I'm hand cutting, I mean, some of my ScanNCut cutting files are different sizes, but if I'm hand cutting, let me get a piece of card out. I will usually either cut my piece of card in half this way on the long side, which gives me 2 of the size I'm doing now, or I rotate it and I cut it in half on the short side, and that gives me, I've got a pink one here, look, if I do this, that gives me one that can either top open or have a frozen. And we're still moving. Yeah, we're still moving. I think I froze them for a minute. Or if I cut it on the short side, as I was saying, it either gives me a top opening one, or I kind of like to use it this way. Now, these 2 pieces are exactly the same size card. They just give you a different look. And sometimes, you know, you might have a pattern that's more horizontal than vertical, and that's why this one works. And if you have them this way, it's just preference whether you like a top opening or a side opening. So that's how I always cut my card. So let's see what we're saying. Donna Jo is saying, I love Pacific Point, and Barbara's saying Pacific Point as well. So we'll go with Pacific Point. So let me just put my cardstock away. I think I have 2 iPhones that I use for filming, like doing lives or pre-recorded videos. And I think the battery life in them is beginning to come to an end. So if anybody sees the screen freeze, just let me know. I have got the other one on standby, and if all else fails, I've got my regular iPhone that I use, you know, as my phone. But yeah, sometimes I think it just froze temporarily. So let's see what Donna's saying. That's what we do for our 8.5 by 11 in the US. Yeah, exactly. So if you cut yours in half either way, if you're 8.5 by 11, your mats, then that gives you a card, doesn't it, that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I normally take 1/4 inch off my mats. So like I said before, this mat started off as 3 7/8. Yours will probably be, will it be 4? If your cards, 8.5, that gives you 4.25. So your matting layer will probably be 4 by 5.25, something like that. It's kind of the same, it's just that in the UK, our A4 card is a different size to the US card. But I don't know whether yours is classed as A4 or letter size. I think it's sold as A4 in your Stampin' Up catalogue and that kind of thing. It's a slightly different size to ours. So now I'm going to take a piece of Pacific Point and I'm going to cut it at 1/2 inch. And the Stampin' Up ruler goes up to about 1.75 inches over on the right hand side. So if I'm cutting anything narrow, I tend to use the right hand side rather than the left. So if I just put this in at about 1/2 inch, that's going to give me a strip to use across here now. So I'm going to stick this one down. And if I can get my, oh, it's running, my Tombow's running sometimes. I have to unbung my Tombow before I can even start. So I'm just going to pop this on here now. So this is going to be the exact same size as the layer. And let me see if I can find my silicone craft sheet. And then this is going to just stick across. You could butt it up if you want. I think I just put mine just ever so slightly across. So I'm going to stick that across there. Just going to put a thin bead of glue. Pop my piece of Pacific Point over. Yes, cards end up being 4.25 by 5.5 card itself. So if you took 1/4 inch off your layer, this layer here that I'm using in the designer series paper would be 4.25 by 5.5, and you'd just cut it for this particular card because sorry, you'd cut this white layer at 4 by 5.25, wouldn't you, if your base card is 4.25 by 5.5, and then you'd cut that layer to match that. Sorry, that's probably far more, I've probably made that sound far more confusing than it needs to be. But basically, it's just, if you want to kind of follow along with this, just cut the white layer 1/4 inch smaller than what would be your base card all the way around, okay? Right, so that's what we've got so far. So now, let's bring in, let me move the... So let me bring in my bits and pieces and see what we've got. So I've got, that's Pacific Point and that's white. That could probably go on there. And I could maybe put my little gnome on it, or I've got that little gnome that I could colour in. Hi Cherie, hope you're okay. Literally not doing anything in particular, just popped on for World Card Making Day, and I've got some, you know, random bits cut and just thought I'd maybe try and make a couple of cards. So I've also got Bermuda Bay, but I don't know whether that's bringing too many colours in then. What do we think? Should we go with, I think I'm going to go with this little gnome guy. Should we go with the Pacific Point and the white circle and the gnome? Or should we go with the Bermuda Bay and the white rectangle and our little gnome? Hi Sherry, she's okay. She's still not got to the bottom of all her stomach problems. It's over 2 years now, but she has just in the last couple of weeks been for a load more blood tests, and she's been for a scan. All the blood tests say there's nothing wrong with her. you know, but when you see a rolling round in pain, there clearly is. And we're waiting for the results of the scan to see if that shows anything. So it's still ongoing, Cherie. Eddie is doing fine, thank you. He's a little character. Pacific Point and Circle. Okay, that's the first comment I saw, so that's what we're going to go with. So I'm going to pop that on one side, just going to put the lid on my glue for a minute. And let's see how we're going to colour this little guy without trying to get my head in the camera. Thank goodness the bloods are clear. Sounds like an ulcer maybe. Well, at first she thought it was something called leaky gut because she had all the symptoms of that. She's kind of got all the symptoms of, is it celiac and Crohn's? But they say bloods don't show that. When she went for the scan, they did say there was a lot of gas in her stomach. So they didn't know whether the scan would actually show anything or not. And we have to wait 2 weeks for that to come back, and that's due back this week. She's actually going to Scotland tomorrow to play in a golf competition for 3 days. So I'm hoping that when she gets back, she'll be able to phone them and try and, you know, see if they've come back. But they literally just keep telling her that all the tests she's every test she has done, they tell her there's nothing wrong with her. But, you know, there can't be nothing wrong with her when her stomach keeps swelling up and she keeps, you know, being ill and in pain. So there's definitely something. We just need to, you know, it's like I said to her the other day, it might not even be a gut. We might have been having all, you know, she's been eating dairy-free, gluten-free, all sorts free for the last year. Literally can hardly eat anything, more or less has the same tea every night, bless her, you know, plain chicken, veg. It might not even be a gut. We just don't know. It's just so soul destroying really for her. Right, let's try and colour this little guy in. If it's an ulcer, then magnesium will help. She can take 1 a day without harm, whether it's normal or not. Okay, that's interesting. Right, let's see what we're going to do with this little guy. I'm going to use, let's see, what have we got? Right, petal pink, I think, for his nose. And his little face that's barely peeking through under his hat. I'm just looking at the one I coloured the other day and trying to see what colours are. Let's have a look what smoky slate is for his shoes. And the colouring is not going to be the best because I literally can't get my head directly over this because of the camera. Because if I put my head directly over it, all you'll see is the top of my head. Let's see. Should we do... I don't know whether they're hands or mittens. Don't know if I might just do those petal pink. We'll just say they're his hands. Can always go over them in a darker colour if it doesn't look right. I'm going to give him a pool party, or no, let's see, what have we got here? That's actually Pretty Peacock, which I think is an old retired colour. Let me just find a scrap of, hang on a second. Find a scrap of card and see what this looks like. No, I don't like that. I think that's retired Pretty Peacock. I know what we've got, Bermuda Bay. Let's do just one thing with magnesium. It turns your waist a bright yellow. Oh no, if you have excess, so there's no change to the colour she needed. Oh dear. I'm going to do, what did I just say this is? Bermuda Bay Light for his hat. Because there is Bermuda Bay in this paper, although we went the Pacific Point route. And as I say, you know, this is not going to be the best colouring in. I think that's his hat down there as well. But really it was more I just wanted to jump on because it's World Card Making Day and just have a catch up with anybody that, you know, might want to come along and spend some time. I think that's part of his hat there as well, just above his little face. So I don't think he actually needs much, but I'm going to do his beard. Oh no, hang on a minute. What we're going to do is clothes. Let's see, there's some flirty flamingo in here. If we do his little sleeves, he's going to be a right old multicoloured gnome, this guy, isn't he? This little dude. We colour his sleeves in flirty flamingo, and I think that's part of his clothing down there. And I think the rest is his beard. So I'm going to use Pool Party. Just going to colour his little mouth in. Not that you're probably going to notice because it's that tiny. There's both colours in it, isn't there? Yeah. So let's just do a bit of Pool Party. Just kind of, and we'll leave a little bit of white in the middle. Let me see if I can pick this up. Can you see? So he's got a little petal pink nose and eyes. He's got flirty flamingo on his sleeves and the tiny little bit of his jacket here. He's got smoky slate for his little boots. And he's got, what did I say, Bermuda Bay. So he's a bit of a multicoloured gnome, but you know. Right, let's put this one together. And then that will be card number 1. And then I've got an idea for part of another card. So we'll see if that's going to work out for the next one. So I'm going to pop him up on a dimensional. Like so. That's going to go on there. I think I'll pop that one up as well. How's everybody been keeping anyway? You've all been asking me about me and Hannah and Eddie, but how have you all been keeping? So we'll pop that one there. What have I done with my piece of base card? We said Pool Party, didn't we? So that's going to go on there. And I think I'll stick this one flat. I think I did between his feet in a contrast colour as trousers. Oh, right, did you? What, that tiny little bit there at the bottom? I was wondering whether that was clothing, but I don't know whether it's his beard or not. I don't know if the catalogue will throw any light on that. Let's have a look and see. Is it in this catalogue or is it in the other one? If it's in the winter one, I've not got that with me. Be in the other one, won't it? It's not in this one, I don't think. So that was a waste of time. Well, we'll have to go with this and see. So in the stamp set, Sherry's saying yes, but either way it's good. For the greeting, I used warm wishes. So you've got your kindness does not go unnoticed. You've got warm wishes. You've got you know me so well. And you've got happy Christmas and happy New Year. But I'm thinking my brother-in-law has a birthday coming up next week, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for Christmas, does it? So I'm wondering whether to just make this into a happy birthday card and send it him. I have a second knee replacement on my right knee coming up in December. Oh no. Well, good luck with that one. So I'm thinking whether to just make it a happy birthday, because it's kind of a wintry scene, isn't it? It doesn't necessarily say Christmas. Now I need to find a happy birthday. We've got that one, but that might be too big. Let me just see what we've got that I can put happy birthday on. We've got Happiness Abounds, that's got a happy birthday in it. Let's just find it. That's congratulations. Is it that one down there? I think that's happy birthday. Let me get a block. Pop this on a block, and I might just do it in Pool Party. Right, we're going to go Pool Party and see what happens. Hold your breath, because anything could happen. Oh, not bad. And then, just bear with me a minute while I just clean this off and put it away, because if I don't, I will probably lose it. So that went down there. Let's find a couple of embellishments. Right, so these are the embellishments that go with the gnome set. So I think I'll just put a couple of the blue ones on, just to kind of like bring out the blue. So that's how we're looking there. Then let me find another piece of white card. Oh my days, my desk is looking a right old mess already. I'm going to put another layer. Barbara's saying, oh Ashley, you are so organised. I'm not, you know. I thought I was getting some of these things cut already, but clearly not. Nothing else is organised. 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. That can go inside. My brother-in-law, I think, will find the humour in this gnome on the front. It's he'll probably think that I'm thinking it's him. So that's card number 1. Have I frozen again? Let me see if I can swap cameras. Barbara's saying, I will boast to having the first Christmas cake in the oven. Oh my days. Right, let me just see if I can swap the phones, because I think we've frozen again. But hopefully you can all still hear me. Let me just go and see if this will pick up my other phone. So if somebody can tell me if you can still hear me, because I can't see the comments for a minute. I just need to log in on my other phone to try and see if I can swap phones. To see if this one's going to work any better. Because I think, oh no, we're unfrozen again now, aren't we? We seem to be unfrozen. And I don't seem to be able to get the other phone to pick up anyway, so add a source. Let's see. It's not picking up my other phone anyway, so right. I'll plod on and see what happens. Can hear me? Yes, can hear me. Okay. I think looking at it now, I'm waving the card around and it seems to be moving, so it looks as though we're unfrozen. So that's the first card. So this card is, I think, a video probably this coming week. So you don't have to watch if you don't want to, because you've seen me make it now. But this is the same card. This one is a top opening and this one is a side opening, same size, made, you know, this one I've used the gnome house cut from the designer series paper. This one I just used a scallop circle, which is the dies, Stampin' Up dies, a plain circle, and then I cut the little gnome with my ScanNCut, although there are dies if you don't have a ScanNCut and you want to buy the dies, and then I've just coloured it in. So that's a duplicate of that. So the other thing I was thinking of trying, and I think I'm going to need another piece of white card. Let's see. This'll do. So I'm going to cut this. Let me just do this. So 5. I'm just going to cut this at 6 for now. And I think it's about 6 by 4. Right, so I'm just going to put some of my cardstock away to give me a bit more room. So just bear with me 1 minute while I sort this out. So everyone's saying all good. It was frozen on my screen. But looking at the battery, it doesn't look as though it's low. So I'm not actually sure what's going on. Let me just put these pieces of paper in there for now. I've got scraps all over the place. Put that out of the way, put that out of the way. I'm going to bring in my Simply scoreboard and I'm going to try something else. So I'm just going to put all my blends away because that'll give me a bit more room on my desk. So just bear with me a minute. I'll put all these away. That's just going to make my life a little bit easier. Right, so this, what did I say this was? This is 6 by 4. Wish the sport would freeze. It doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut this down, but that's what I'm starting off with. I've not made this, don't know whether it's going to work, but we're going to try it and see. I'm going to score at every 1/2 inch. So starting off with it in an even number just makes it a lot easier as well. So I'm literally started off at 1/2, 1, 1.5, working my way along. Hopefully I won't get it wrong. So that's what we've got so far. I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to score at 1/2 inch, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 and 3.5. So that's what we've got now. You could always turn it over and have the other side, but I quite like this side. Now in my little box here I have bits of card already cut up in lots of colours, but I've got this already pre-cut, this base card, so I'm thinking I'll probably use that. That I think is Melon Mambo. Could be wrong, but I think it is. So I don't think there's Melon Mambo in this, is there? I'm just thinking what we could use out of this, or I'm going to have to go to another pack of paper. Oh, have we got... Let's just... I think we've got some spammers. Let's just try and get rid of them. If anybody sees them, can you just click on them and click report and unwanted? That will hopefully get rid of them. Okay, I think we're okay. I think they've all gone. I think this is why I need my phone nearer, because my phone seems to pick comments up quicker than my iPad, which is directly in front of me. Right, let's have a look and see if there's anything in here. If not, we'll see if we can use something else. But I've got bits and pieces cut from this suite, so that's why I wanted to use this really. Let's see what we've got, because I've got a little gnome guy already cut. Unless I cut another piece of card. I know, we won't use the pink. Let's go balmy blue if we've got any. And would you credit it? I bet I've not. Is that 4 inches wide? Oh, that might do. That might just do us. Okay, so this is 4 1/8. This is going to have to do. It's got a bit of a dog-eared corner, but both reported. Thank you. Let's try this and see. So I'm thinking I've got that one, or there's a smaller one, there's that one. Right, my thinking is I'm going to put a piece of this across the top and this piece across the bottom. So what do we think on our balmy blue? Do we want to go with the balmy blue snowflakes and this? Or do we want to go with the, I think this is Pacific Point again, and this, while I have a quick drink. I'm going to cut this one down while we're waiting anyway. So I'm going to chop this one down to 5 5/8. Pacific Point stands out more. And let's just do this to about, I've no idea what this is going to look like. I'm going to do it 2.5 inches at the moment, but I might cut it down. So let's do Pacific Point. So we'll do, what mood am I going for? I don't know. I'm going, I think, for trying to get through the live unscathed mood. So let's try 5 5/8 and see how this is going to look. So I'm thinking the Pacific Point like so, and the Misty Moonlight. Now that clearly is too big, so I'm going to make this 2 inches. I was thinking kind of, have I done that wrong? Have I cut that the wrong side? Hang on a minute, might have cut these the wrong size already. Maybe kind of like this with stuff everywhere. I like the lighter one, Deb's saying. Right, well, we'll try the lighter one as well. So let's, where's my trimmer? Let me cut this one. So that was 2.5, I think, wasn't it? So cut that one at 2.5. Because I'm always going to use this paper, so it doesn't really matter. 5 5/8. We can probably see it better as well when it's its normal size. So far we've got that as one option, or the lighter one, then trying to find a piece of scrap. My thinking is, because this is balmy blue, well, you've lost none of your optimism, don't know about that. My little gnome on that, and maybe pop that on here somehow. But I think it needs a strip under here to try and kind of join these two together. So that's one look. So that's the lighter top. Or we do it with the darker top. What we're thinking. Let me just put some of this paper away while you're telling me what you think, because my desk is just getting in an absolute utter mess. So the Pacific Point or the balmy blue? Tell me what you're thinking. I'm definitely going to use the Balmy Blue Little Gnome, I think, this piece for the gnome to sit on. Okay, so at the moment we've just got Deb saying she prefers the lighter one. So let me know what you think, and then we'll see. It needs something. Do 2. Right, hang on. Let's see what other... We might need to colour another... Oh, unless I use a... Oh, hang on. Here's a thought then. How about this? Let's see. That will kind of tie in with that. That one can be used for another card. Maybe like that. Sorry, not helpful. You're right there. Right, let's go back to this one. Let's find a piece of... Where's my trimmer? Let's go back to this. Pacific Point, someone's saying now. So do you think we need Pacific Point across there? I'll just put that away. Right, let's get another piece of card. Hang on. See, you can tell this wasn't organised. The Balmy Blue is more feminine. Okay. So let's cut ½ inch strip. Right, we're going for it. I'm just going to stick. We're going to go for it and see what happens. We'll go with the Pacific Point. Seems to be the colour of the day. Right, I'm going to lay that like so, so it's got a border. I'm going to put... I actually like it that way up now. Don't know that you can see it. That's the raised side, which I wasn't going to use, and that's the indented side, which I was going to use. But I actually think I prefer the other side now. Put a flag across with a sentiment on. I'm actually going to use that side, I think. Right, I'm going to stick this down. So I'm going to go with the raised side up. I'm going to lay that over the Pacific Point so that there's a kind of similar gap all the way round. And then I'm going to put this across there, I think. So let's cut this at 5 5/8. This is definitely crafting on the fly, isn't it? Red contrasts with Pacific Point more. Okay, well, let's do this one and see what we think. Let's get it so far and then we can always tweak it. Right, so that's what we've got so far. This I want to use. So I'm definitely going to use this. So I'm going to stick this on there. These are from the rectangle stitched dies. And I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals. So let me put 3 dimensionals on here and let's see how this is going to look. In fact, I'll bring my little jar in, save me keep stretching across. So that's what I'm thinking with that, like that kind of offset. I don't like things put in the middle. So now it's a case of, somebody said they thought the red stood out better. Are we going to go with the little stamped gnome with his red hat? Let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Or should I go with the little girl gnome that was cut from the designer series paper that's got the Pacific Point hat? So which one? And then it does need a sentiment of some description, doesn't it, really, to fill this space in. But so which one? Are we going to go with the little man with his red hat or the little girl with the blue hat? And then we've got You Gnome Me So Well, which I think is quite a nice little sentiment. Just getting a block. And I'm going to stamp that on a piece of separate card, because this is obviously red hat, red hat. Okay. So I've seen 2 for red hat at the moment, so that's good. I'm just trying to find my scraps now, which I've put away. So let's go for this. So we're saying, everyone's saying, oh, one says blue. So if we go for the red hat, we could stamp the sentiment in real red. I like the blue hat with the dark blue. Do you have any tag dies for the sentiment? Not on hand, I don't think, but I can always maybe make something with this. Let's try this and see for now. So if we make that a little bit longer. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? I've just got my little guillotine out just to cut this down. And then, looks like I'm outvoted. If I just cut up to the middle a very tiny bit and then kind of flag the end. That's not the best, but then that could go in there. But I think it needs popping up, and I don't know if it's going to get lost. Might put it there actually. Right, so what we're saying, how many have we got? We've got red, 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 that's 3. Blue. So most people are going for the red at the minute. So that's what I'm going to go with, because otherwise I think my batteries are going to die. I've been on for over an hour and I've only made 2 cards. But I could always use the blue one on the other one. I'm thinking if I pop him there like that, so he looks as though he's not floating, and just find a smoky slate and just ground him a little. Then, what did I do? I've got the gnome embellishments again. And they've got the blues and the pinks in them. So if we go for the pinky ones this time. Have we frozen again? We keep freezing, don't we? I'm still trying to get into my other phone. Deb's saying you have frozen. Okay, bear with me 1 minute. Let me see if I can swap phones. I'm going to put you onto me for a minute and swap out the cameras. Because I've nearly finished now anyway. Yeah, my phone was saying low battery. That's why it's frozen. So I'll put that one on charge. So this is what we've got now for this one. So that's not too bad, is it? Take that camera off. So you should be able to see me again now. Barbara's saying back again. Cherie's saying all good again. So that's the second one. So blues seem to be the theme of the day. That one I can definitely use for that one. Could probably recreate it again with that one. Let's see what we've got. See if this works with Night of Navy. Where's my trimmer? Right, let's cut this down. 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and then these I'll cut down to 3. No, I'll leave that one as it is. 5 3/8. And 5 3/8 on this one. Let's see how this is going to look. I'm going to use the raised side again. That one's going to go over the top. I've lost the comments. All good again, good result. Barbara's saying. Let's just try it with this one now, because somebody wanted the lighter blue, didn't they? And I can't remember who it was. So we've got that. Then we want, I'm going to use a pale blue. This might, no, in fact, let's use, have we got another piece of Night of Navy? Let's try a piece of Night of Navy, 1/2 inch. By 5 3/8. Put that across this time, just to break it up. All good again, good result. And I think this is going to be the last one because I can hear Eddie barking like mad. So these are just 2 plain circles. The bigger one's about 2.5 and that's about 2. Pop that one like so. Pop this one up. Pop this one over here. Use this little blue Pacific Point hatted little girl gnome. Pop that on there. And then I just need to find a white base card, which have I got? Oh, might have one already cut. So again, when I was saying at the beginning, when you cut your paper different ways, you get the same size card. Let me zoom out a bit. This is what I was talking about earlier. So because this is going this way, this piece of card has been cut down the middle on the short side, so it can be a top or it can be like this. So this will go on here now, like so. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I do, I cut up, like I get a white, I use, for my base cards, I use basic white thick, and I'll get maybe, you know, half a dozen or a dozen sheets, and I'll cut 6 of them in half along the long side to give me this type of card. Can I zoom out a bit more? Hang on, I'm going the wrong way. And I'll cut 6 of them in half along the short side to give me this orientation. And then I keep them in this basket with a lot of mats that are already cut in various colours, and I keep the white or the pre-cut. I've got, like I said, I've got a stray melon mambo one there. I keep them at the front, and all the matting layers, which are cut at 5 5/8 by 3 7/8, and then I can always cut them down smaller if I want to. So that's, let me clear up my rubbish. That's another one. And again, if I just bring in I might use the blue ones again. I like the blue ones. Put one there and a couple of small ones. And that's that one. Get where my camera is. So, I've done 3 and they all seem to be blue themed. So that was my first one, which was a copy of the one that is going to have a video coming up, I think this week. So that was on a pool party base with a white insert. I'm going to send that to my brother-in-law. This one's on a balmy blue base with the Pacific Point, piece of Pacific Point cardstock. You know, you can decorate these up or embellish them more. I'm just trying to, you know, I was coming on for a chat and just thought I'd make some cards. So I will put a piece of white card inside that before I do anything with it. And then obviously I use the real red to go with his real red hat. And then this one is just on a white base with a bit of Night of Navy, and then the balmy blue, the piece of white card that I made, which was the scrap left over from that using the scoreboard. See if I can zoom in. Let me get rid of that. See if you can see them a little bit better. You can see on this one, you can see the you know, homemade embossed bit. And then that was the last one. So really I've just used the product from the Storybook Gnomes suite, but you could use anything. You could use any designer series paper. Just cut some shapes, you know, cut some shapes, get some designer series paper, get some card, and just use the layout if nothing else. So that's, I think, going to be it for today. So I've been on about 1 hour and 20. Just tidy up while I'm talking to you. Just need to clean this stamp before I put it away. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed spending a little bit of time with me on this World Card Making Day. Hoping it's give you some ideas. We've not frozen again, have we? No, we're okay. So I'll take a picture of these and I'll put it up on the thumbnail of this live stream. Thank you so much for showing us all these ideas, Ashley. I always feel like I've done something useful when I've watched you. Oh, thank you. So I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go and retrieve Eddie from his barking. Have a bit of a tidy up. I've got lots of projects that I've made. Does anybody want to see a quick look at the cards I've made recently with the hues of happiness before we go and before we freeze again? Or are you all just happy to just go now and have your Saturday afternoon back to yourself? Just let me know before while I'm tidying up. I'll just put all my stuff away while I'm waiting. Cherie's saying, I'm so happy I've caught you once again. Oh, you're welcome. So I'll pop these on one side and I'll just wait and see if you want to see some of the cards. You may have already seen them on my website because a lot of them are ScanNCut cutting files. But somebody was asking earlier, weren't they, about the hues of happiness. Let me just pop that back in shot while I'm waiting to see what you say. Yes, please. Okay, right. So I've got this huge box, so just bear with me a minute. While I make some space. Right, so these two are diorama cards and these are made with the Gnomes suite, okay? So that's just two that's on the top and that's an envelope I made to go with the Gnomes. Let me zoom out, that might give us a bit more room. So that's those two out of the way. But hues of happiness, right, here we go. This is the first one. This is just a simple flower shaped card and all these flowers were just cut using the ScanNCut from the paper. So was it Barbara or somebody was asking earlier which flowers? Literally any of the pieces of designer series paper that have got the flowers in of any size, I've cut the flowers out with the ScanNCut. So that's one. This one I think is called a tuxedo box style card. You're getting sneak peeks of videos now because a lot of these are going to be, well not a lot of them, but quite a few of them are already on my YouTube, but some of them are going to be ones that are coming up. So again, this is the flowers from the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. This is one of my favourites. I think this is called a Swing Out card, and this is in the new 2022 to 24 in colour, which is Parakeet Party, but again the flowers are from the Hues of Happiness. And these flowers in this Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper work so well with the new 2022 to 2024 in colours. So like your Parakeet Party, your Sweet Sorbet, Tahitian Tide, all those colours. That's another one. This is another one. I think this is called an Octagon pop-up card. Again, this paper is the Hues of Happiness. The flowers are the Hues of Happiness. This one, you know, you write across the back, or you could put another panel, stick it to this so it backs that, and you could write there. So that's another one, but this is all Hues of Happiness. These you may have already seen. These are, I sell these cut out and drawn words in my shop, but again, just decorated with the Hues of Happiness flowers. That's another one going in that orientation. The paper is so useful. I think it's the only pack of paper that I've ever really virtually used every last single scrap. I mean, I like loads of our papers, and I use a lot of it, but sometimes I end up cutting it up and sending it, you know, in customer thank you packs. But this pack, literally all as I've got left is what I showed you at the beginning, that one like 3/4 piece of pattern paper. I'm going to have to buy another one. This is another one. This is, I think, called an easel bookmark. Have I frozen again? Can't be freezing on this one, surely. Oh, we're back. So this is another one. This is called an easel bookmark. Again, it's using the new in colours, but it's got the flowers from the Hues of Happiness. Let me just see if I can find some more. This is another one, really simple, scalloped edge card, but using the Hues of Happiness flowers again. And you can see here, this is the reverse of this side. So I think one side's got like the ombre colours in it, and the other side's got the big flowers on it. So that one I just reversed the pattern paper, used it as a rectangle matting layer, and used the flowers. Here's another one, really simple, just one flower and one of my cut out words. So literally, when I say I've used it all, I've used it all. This is, I can't remember what they call this. I think this is called a bridge card. But again, this one I've used the stamps, but this is the paper. So both sides of this paper is completely usable. You know, either use it for your pattern papers, or on the other side where you've got those big flowers, use them for things like this. These are stamped and I've just coloured them in with the blends, but again I've used the small pattern paper that's out of the pack. Got loads. This is another one. I think this is called an envelope style card. I've put the stamp on the inside. This is another one of the new 22 to 24 in colours, and I've just decorated it with the flowers. So there's absolutely loads. This one, I think this is already up on the channel. This is made all using the paper. So this paper here in the background is one of the designer series papers. This paper here is the same as this. And then again, I've put the flowers on the front, and this is called a slide and lock, and you literally slide that out and then it opens, and you can either put photographs or decorate it, and then you slide it back and it opens. And these predominantly, most of these are all cutting files that I sell in my cutting file shop as well, but I have done videos on them. This is another in colour. It's not from the Hues of Happiness, but this is another one of the swing out cards, but this has got the circle rather than the rectangle. This isn't Hues of Happiness though, this is the Tea Boutique. Trying to see what else we've got. This little gift box, this is all Hues of Happiness. This is all a Hues of Happiness paper. This is the new Parakeet Party, the green that matches that paper. And I think that might be about it. I think I've sent a lot of the others or I've given them away. But, you know, if I take that one out, all of these in some way have all got Hues of Happiness paper on them. So that's it. So I'm going to say thank you and I'm going to say goodbye. I've turned my phone off now so I can't see the comments. I can only see the comments on my iPad. So I hope you liked all of those. I hope you like the ideas. As I say, a lot of them are cutting files. So for anybody that's new to the ScanNCut, if you want to buy the cutting files, you can get them here on my website. And I've got a stack of bits and pieces I can make more cards with. So I'll just wait and see if you're all still there and if you're saying goodbye, and then I will say goodbye. Thank you for spending the time with me. You've been a busy Vegemite. Bye all, take care. Yeah, I have been busy over the last few months. So I am going to go now because it's nearly an hour and a half and I'm going to go and retrieve Eddie from his barking. I've got my juice, I'm going to have that. And I'll take him out for a walk. So have a good weekend, have a good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are, or what time it is in the world, and take care. And hopefully I will speak